Hey, what's up internet? Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel and checking out my videos. I've had a bunch of messages and comments on the last couple of videos I've done asking about how I run my setup and write the songs and perform the set and step through the arrangement, and if I could do a short video explaining how I run it. So here we are making a little video. It's really straightforward, but I figured I could just sort of rig up the gear while we're on the camera, and you can see exactly what I'm doing and quite how simple it is. So it's peak, circuit monostation, Digitakt, couple of Strymon effects, and a little Behringer Xenix 502 USB mixer. So what we'll do is we'll run everything up and I'll show you, give you an overview of the routings and the set, and then we'll zoom in on a song and I'll show you how I go through the arrangement parts, which might be of interest to you. And then maybe in another video I'll show you how I go about actually composing the pieces with a MIDI keyboard attached, which I don't have at the moment, but we'll do that again sometime. Alright, so with this setup, I'm not running the modular. I can just tag it off and maybe we can bring that in another video. Just MIDI out of MIDI out of the Digitakt and into the peak with its upside down MIDI plugs, and we're just going to make a nice long chain, really, through the peak into the circuit monostation, through the circuit monostation, and into the old school circuit, and out of the old school circuit, into the timeline, MIDI in. Right, so that's the MIDI done. It's really that simple. When I hit play, everything goes in the built-in speaker and circuits even having a go. I can see the peaks going, tempo's synced up on the timeline, and the circuit monostation starts and stops. So that's all good. Now it's time to run some audio. Again, it couldn't be simpler. Just the only quirk here is I don't have enough channels on the little Behringer mixer to have a third stereo, and it's only got two stereo and one mono channel, so I run stereo, mono into the timeline, which comes out stereo, and then stereo out of that, into the reverb out of that. So because I don't have that third stereo channel, I'll use the tape returns and just switch them into the mix, and it just gives me another stereo channel, and the circuit goes into the mono channel. So here we go. Left, right. Okay. And what else, is that long enough? Left, right from the peak. Right. Alright, so it's working. This isn't working yet. That's working. Now I need a long mono for the circuit. Just because I don't have enough stereo channels, so I take it mono. Out of necessity. Okay. Yep. And then this little arrangement, which is mono out of this guy, audio in, line out. And into the timeline. And then stereo out of the timeline. And into the big sky. And now, because I don't have any channels left, I just need to find my cable. And here it is, slightly over-spec cable for the job. Okay. And now, get that in. There we go. And this one. And we know the drums work. Cool. So there you go. That's a full setup from scratch. It's really, really simple. It's really straightforward. I can show you the little Behringer mixer very quickly. It's super simple, guy. You can just Google an image of it. One mono channel with EQs on it that I don't use. A second stereo channel, a third stereo channel. There is a compressor on the first channel as well. I don't know. Doesn't do anything. I don't use it. And the tape input, which I am, like I say, using to get a stereo effects return from here. So that's the setup. So we'll have a look at how I structure the songs and sets, with starting with Digitakt and then with the circuits. I've got it set up basically with a set number. I've got a preconceived idea. Each song has a set number of patterns. In this case, in the case of Digitakt, it's 4. In the case of either circuit, it's 2. I've set up both circuits so that I navigate through the different songs in exactly the same way with them. You know, this pattern on that circuit and that pattern on that circuit are the same section in the same song, to keep it really simple. Digitakt has 8 banks of 16 patterns. The way I break up the songs is bank 1, patterns 1, 2, 3, 4 are song 1, 5, 6, 7, 8 are song 2, so on, so on. So every song's made up of 4 patterns on Digitakt. Now, the way I've done it with the circuits is every song's made up of 2 sessions, same idea as a pattern, 2 sessions on a circuit. So sessions 1 and 2 are song 1, patterns 1, 2, 3, 4 of bank 1 on Digitakt are song 1, and sessions 1 and 2 on circuit mono station are song 1. So what that means is each bank of Digitakt, having 4 songs in it, is equivalent to each horizontal line on circuit. So it's kind of idiot proof. Like I can just go, I want to play bank 1, song 1, that's there on the circuit. Bank 3, song 3 is there. Bank 1, 2, 3, song 1, 2, 3. So 4 patterns per song on Digitakt, 2 patterns per song on circuits, and that means that I can, my banks are here, same, like this relates to Digitakt, bank 1, 2, 3, 4, and the songs are 1, 2, 3, 4. So song, I hope that makes sense. It's really, really straightforward. It's set up so that I can just at any time, like say, go song 2, bank 2, song 4. The performance quirk of this is that you get 4 bars if you're in a 4-bar loop with the Digitakt, 4 bars to punch in the next pattern you want to progress to, whereas with the circuits they're like an Ableton clip, so you get 1 bar. So you got to get I mean, the muscle memory comes, but you've got to get used to being able to punch that up early, but being on the bar with these guys. So, like I say, I hope all that makes plenty of sense to you. The last thing with the setup side is that you'll notice, maybe you can see, I've got little bits of tape stuck to the synth, so I know that I can just point my volume knobs sort of in the general vicinity of those, and that's my unity levels. And if I've got this all at unity, then it should more or less come out sounding alright. So I can go bank to song, I don't know, there's a good one, bank 2, song 2, bank 2, song 2, and I should be able to hit the play button now. I mean, you've just seen me set it up, and it's going to sound more or less right. Okay, so I just got to set my effects to how I like them. Alright, maybe we go for gigantic reverb. Assuming that's not peaking out. Right, so it worked. You know, it's kind of like, say, an idiot-proof setup. You would note that the peak automatically recalls its patch whenever I play the first pattern in a new song. So remember, that's a song, that's a song, that's a song, that's a song. It means that patterns 1, 5, 9 and 13 do the patch recall on peak for their relevant song that they're going to come into. So if I skipped to the first pattern in a song, I wouldn't get the program changes. Most songs I only have it in the first pattern. Some of them I've got it in other parts as well to recall the patch, because I know that I'm going to do some crazy tweak or something leading into it, and I want it to recall back to its initial state when it goes into the B section of the song. So let's just, I'll give you a quick look through what's happening on circuit here, sorry, Digitakt. So drum tracks are just doing drum track things. Hope you can hear that alright. And the MIDI tracks are really simple. It's common across all of the songs in all of the sets that I'm making. I'll just keep myself on a rigid, structured system so that I can just get down with making the music and not trying to remember how I've got every pattern set up. If it's uniform across them, it's much more straightforward. Track 9 is always the peak. And then I've got track 10 set up to be synth 1 on the circuit. Oh, not in this one. I started doing that later in the piece. Bear with me. Right, there we go. So I've got I don't play that circuit with the Digitakt, but I keep it there. I have a track set up for it because even though I'm recording the MIDI into the circuit, when I've got a MIDI controller attached and I'm writing music, I often like to record the notes into its own sequencer with a keyboard rather than using the interface here. Sometimes I use the interface there too. It depends on the part that I'm trying to play with it. So if it's a big, long, high-low, octave jumpy part, then I'll definitely use a keyboard. But if it's sort of a percussive arpeggio or something, I'll play it on there. So, but I keep that handy for that reason, because again, I could just choose that track, and with my keyboard on its auto channel, with the Digitakt, automatically routes the MIDI to it, channel 14. Channel 11 is the second synth in circuit, so for exactly the same reasons. So that I've just got access when I'm playing a keyboard, because I've got a keyboard plugged in. I'm playing the peak, I'm playing circuit 1, I'm playing circuit 2, and then I'm playing the mono station. So all of the synths are easily accessible automatically just by, I love the way the Digitakt handles that, just by having my keyboard run into the input. but we'll cover that in the next video. I'll try and seek some inspiration and, you know, come up with something for that. So let's have a look at a song. Bank 1, pattern 1, bank 1, pattern 1, go. So let's pick it apart. So because you know when you saw me set it up, it's circuit mono station running into the timeline, into the big sky, into the tape return. They're only affecting this. This is using its own internal effects, this is using its own internal effects, and this is using its own internal effects. So we've got the peak playing off track 9, like we know, and I don't know if you can see that, but you can see my program change. So that's the only thing being sequenced by the Digitakt. We'll have a listen to the circuit mono station. Okay. And I don't know if this is going at the moment. So you can hear that's my introduction pattern. I've got the drums turned down. Cool. So you understand that kind of vibe? Now with the breakdown of patterns in the songs on the Digitakt, it's how I construct the arrangement for the different songs. So pattern 1 is always a kind of introductory verse, you know. I'm going to have the drums muted usually when I change into a new song, when we transition. So it'll do my program change. It's got a nice sparse chord or something, or a bass note coming from the peak. These two circuits jump to their pattern. So pattern 1, the first pattern in a group of 4 in a song, is always that introductory transitionary pattern. Pattern 2 is always the bedded in verse 1, call it. So your first verse. And pattern 3 is the section B in the song. So if you listen to my songs, you'll see they all have a section B kind of movement. And that will have a more profound change within the song. And pattern 4 is usually either a developed section B or a third section for the song, you know, maybe a fully broken down section with a half time or a no time or something. So just recapping, all the songs are in groups of 4 patterns. The first 2 are always section A, the second 2 are always section B, and I know that I can go from pattern 2 to pattern 3 and do that sort of verse chorus change. And then I know that there'll be something more useful on pattern 4 as well. So bank 1, song 1, section A, section A, section B, song 2, section A, section A, section B, section B, song 3, section A, B, B. So it's really straightforward. There's just a system. It's mechanical. Again, so I could do it in low light circumstances or just plow through the songs, or if a song's not working, I can get out of it onto the next one. How does that tie in with the circuit sequences? So remember, they're 2 patterns, 2 sessions per song. So for my 4 patterns on the Digitakt, 1 and 2, section A, pertain to pattern 1 on circuit, on both circuits, and section B, patterns 3 and 4 of the song, pertain to the second pattern on each circuit. So we'll do a little section A, section B. If I go bank 1, song 1, bank 1, song 1, section A. Alright, now we're going to section B. So pattern 3 and onto my next pattern. Can hear the circuit. Alright, and my developed section B. Alright, so that's the section A, section B thing. Now, there's a little more detail to it. So I have progressions built into the circuits as well. So if we go to session 1, so section A, session 1, and we have a look in here at our pattern screen. I'll kill these guys for a minute. So we're listening to the two circuits at this stage. We might go into section B because there is actually more progression built in. Right. So inside the circuit sequences, I have little messages to myself. If I'm using all 16 bars of the pattern sequencer on the circuit mono station, I know that all of those notes work over whichever section I'm in at this moment. So I'm in section B, pattern 3 and 4. I know that I don't have to move this sequencer around while I'm playing it. On this one, I've only occupied patterns 1 to 4 on both synth parts, which tells me that I've got another part here in the second 4 bars of each synth part that I can play, usually when I go into the next section. So we'll go to the next section. I missed it. And you can hear there's a bass line there. I don't know, maybe you can hear that. If I kill this guy. So that's my section B first patterns and my section B second patterns. Now in this case it's just for sort of a bass note and a background sound, but on the circuit mono station, as we get through a few of the songs, you'll see the lead lines start to develop quite a bit and really depend on that feature. Let me just have a quick look for a song. Bank 2, song 2. Bank 2, song 2. Right. So I've listened to this one. We'll just pick it apart quickly, you can hear the parts. So bass line sequenced by this guy. Can mute it. Now I've got the regular circuit, glassy sound. Okay, and the circuit mono station. Now I've had a little look in the patterns here on the circuit mono station, and I can see that I've only got notes, or that when I load it, it's looping the first 8 bars of the pattern sequencer, which, like I say, tells me that I've got another 8 bars of music here programmed up for a variation. So we'll change over and listen. If I just kill everything. So that's the second 8 bars. And the first 8 bars. Except I only got 7. And I could just reload that session and it'll... Now we go into section B, we'll have a look in there. So this is the section B part for, you know, bank 2, song 2 on circuit mono station. And I've got, again, I've got the first 8 bars stored, so we go to the next 8 bars. And you can hear it kick through its progression. So over here I need to catch that up. You can hear the circuit, got into its second 4 bars, second 8 bars, 4 bars here. So So this is kicking through the different patterns within the session on each circuit, which would be the same as going through the section B part 1 and section B part 2 on the Digitakt. So we'll bring it up on the Digitakt as it comes around. Alright, now kicking into the next bit. And then the second one. And I can just jump between the two sections as much as I like. So when I'm going to change back to part A, we go a bit off the beat, but you get the vibe. Back to section A. And section B. And back to section A. Now we're going to another song, section A. Now we can kick straight into the section B of this song. Again, because it's a rules-based system, so just numbers. Check my patterns. I reckon I've got something there. I can see this is filled up, so I don't have to worry about it. And then back to section A. Oh, I missed it. So, now you know all my secrets. That's it's really straightforward. I've got a rules-based system, which means that when I sit down, when it comes time to write music, I'm always punching the numbers into the machine the way that I know it's going to digest them rather than battling the machine. It's set up for minimalism and speed and easy to remember for me, but of course that system can easily be scaled so that you can just have a rules-based system of 8 patterns per song, and you can have more detailed arrangements or things like that if you so chose. But like I say, it was really built around the fact that I had to play an hour of music. I wanted to get it done strictly with these machines and with their own sequences as much as possible. Lean on this to sequence this as good as I could, and that then the sequences, the circuits and their 32 pattern memory meant that for me to have enough variation to have section A, section B, and a selection of patterns from within there meant that I really banked out at getting 16 songs onto these, which means I'm using half of the available, set memory, project memory on the Digitakt. So really, if I can shorten these and make them 1 pattern long, then I can double the length of the set because I can use all 32 songs with my system in the Digitakt. So there you go. I hope it's useful to you. Let me know what you reckon.